Hello and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred today in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things I personally find intriguing enough for me to bring to you. The source of this information comes from the smart device application On This Day, the icon of which is shown as cutoff prevention at the beginning and end of each episode. The music in the background is Turn It Up by Anikdote, which I found on the YouTube channel No Copyright Sounds, aka NCS. For links to the app, music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar. Anyway, on with the show! Today is Tuesday, aka Tuesday, June 7, 2016. In 2000, the United Nations defined the blue line as the border between Israel and Lebanon. In 1995, the long-range Boeing 777 entered service with United Airlines. In 1990, Universal Studios Florida opened in Orlando, Florida. In 1982, Priscilla Presley opened Graceland to the public but kept the bathroom where Elvis Presley died 5 years prior off limits. In 1981, the Israeli Air Force destroyed Iraq's Al-Sirak nuclear reactor during Operation Opera. In 1971, the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Division of the U.S. Internal Revenue Service, aka IRS, raided the home of Ken Balu for the illegal possession of hand grenades. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but a grenade is not alcohol, tobacco, nor a firearm, so they were way out of their jurisdiction and the explosives should be returned to their owner and said owner's charges should be dropped. Also in 1971, the U.S. Supreme Court overturned the conviction of Paul Cohen for disturbing the peace, setting the precedent that vulgar writing is protected under the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. In 1967, during the Six-Day War, Israeli soldiers entered Jerusalem. In 1965, the Supreme Court of the U.S. handed down its decision in Griswold v. Connecticut, effectively legalizing the use of contraception by married couples. In 1955, Lux Radio Theater, which had launched in 1934 and featured radio adaptations of Broadway shows and popular films, signed off the air permanently. In 1948, Edvard Beneš resigned as president of Czechoslovakia rather than signing the 9th of May Constitution, thus making his nation a communist state. In 1942, during World War II, the Battle of Midway ended with victory for the U.S. In 1938, during the Second Japanese-Sino War, the Chinese nationalist government created the 1938 Yellow River Flood to halt Japanese forces, resulting in the deaths of between 500,000 and 900,000 civilians. Now, I don't know what's worse, the fact that China caused such a genocide for a strategic advantage, or the fact that they are so overpopulated that the flooding of a river will result in such a huge number of deaths. Either way, it's terrible. In 1936, the Trade Union Steel Workers Organizing Committee was founded in Pittsburgh with Philip Murray as its first elected president. In 1929, the Lateran Treaty was ratified, bringing Vatican City into existence. In 1917, during World War I, during the Battle of Messines, Allied soldiers detonated ammonite mines under German trenches at Messines Ridge, resulting in 10,000 German troop deaths. In 1906, Cunard Line's RMS Lusitania was launched from the John Brown shipyard in Glasgow, aka Clydebank, Scotland. In 1905, Norway's parliament dissolved its union with Sweden. The vote was confirmed by a national plebiscite on August 13th of that year. In 1899, U.S. temperance crusader Carrie Nation began her campaign of vandalizing alcohol-serving establishments by destroying the inventory in a saloon in Kiowa, Kansas. In 1893, Mohandas Gandhi committed his first act of civil disobedience. In 1892, Homer Plessy was arrested for refusing to leave his seat in the whites-only car of a train. He then later lost the Plessy vs. Ferguson court case. Also in 1892, Benjamin Harrison became the first president of the United States to attend the baseball game. In 1862, the United Kingdom and the United Nations agreed in the Lyon-Seward Treaty in order to suppress the African slave trade. In 1832, Asian cholera reached Quebec, brought by Irish immigrants, and caused the deaths of about 6,000 people in Lower Canada. In 1810, the newspaper Gazeta de Buenos Aires was first published in Argentina. In 1788, during the French Revolution, the Day of the Tiles commenced when civilians in Grenoble tossed roof tiles and other objects down upon royal troops. In 1776, Richard Henry Lee presented the Lee Resolution to the Continental Congress. This motion was seconded by John Adams and would lead to the United States Declaration of Independence. In 1494, Spain and Portugal signed the Treaty of Tordesillas, which divided the New World between the two countries. And in 1099, during the First Crusade, the Siege of Jerusalem began. Births: Fetty Wap, 1990, Iggy Azalea, 1990, Prince Rogers Nelson, 1958, Liam Neeson, 1952. Deaths: Christopher Lee, 2015. And that concludes the show. Once again, check the underbar for any links you may be interested. Don't forget to rate 5 thumbs and subscribe for your dose of passive events daily. I am Aoxander, and you are you. Toodles!